Well, the biggest concern for me personally is, am I going to have enough money to live comfortably, because Social Security may not be here in a few years.
My dream had always been to not work. Unlike people who want to be psychologists and psychiatrists and move up the corporate ladder and all that good stuff, my idea was just, how do I figure out not to work at an early age? So.
It's a concern, I think, of single women as well as any other person. You don't want to be a financial burden to your children.
It just gave me a peace of mind to know what the finances were, that I have the freedom to give to others, and know that my needs are taken care of.
That's a difficult scenario to be in, where you're just so controlled by money and finances and things like that, when if you can relinquish that control over to, first and foremost, God, and allow Him to take that worry and that concern away. So I think I'm very comfortable where I am financially. Well, I'm a native of Atlanta. I am single. I actually am divorced for many years, and have been in the pharmaceutical industry. That's been my career for the last 16 years. I just recently resigned from my last pharmaceutical company that I was with, and so I'm kind of calling myself in temporary retirement, and I'm absolutely loving every moment of it. I think it's so important to get hooked up to a financial advisor, because there's only so much that you can do on your own. I think there's only a certain level of comfort that you have within your own self, and trying to make those types of decisions that are important, especially when you're planning for retirement in the future. What I loved about Arthur is, I guess, his honesty and the way that I felt like I was in good hands. The trust, obviously, is such an important factor for everybody that is seeking out financial advice. But I think where the comfort I found with Arthur was that he knew my heart, especially my heart for the Lord. And I think it's so important. I think the worth factor, also, you have to factor in the trust factor too, because I think that's what a lot of people may be apprehensive about, is can they trust somebody to manage their money, and how do these people make money? I still don't know that I fully understand all of that, but I have such a genuine trust in Arthur and the way that he handles not only myself, but his whole clientele. But I do understand that people can be leery about seeking out help in a financial area, because that's an area that we want to control it. We want to rein that money in and kind of work it ourselves, and it's hard to release that control over to someone else. But if you do it early on, I think that's important.
I'm Gloria. I am a mom of two wonderful daughters that are adults. I have a precious 9-month-old grandbaby girl that is just wonderful. I am single. I was married for 40 years, and my husband decided to part ways, but I am healing thanks to divorce care that has been offered my church, and lots of prayers. My husband was a CPA, and I knew nothing about finances. He did 100% of all of it. So Arthur met with me shortly afterwards. He advised me for a CPA that was wonderful, that was able to guide me tax-wise. He worked directly with my lawyer, going through the divorce. He actually was right there with me, throughout that. And he is very, very good with simplifying things for me to understand, which I really appreciate that. So it's been very, very helpful. I think that the majority of especially single women do not know where to turn for help. Their finances sometimes might be in such a difficult state that they don't feel that they can afford to get a financial planner to try to help them. And there is a great need there. There's a great need for women to be educated on what to do and how to set up budgets, how to survive without being under financial stress all the time. They have enough stress just dealing with life and with children and the world situations, much less financial concerns, and most of them have them.
I am a widow. I'm a mother, and I'm active in my church. I am a pharmacist. I work at St. Joseph Hospital, and I work night shift. My husband and I were on a mission trip, and we were at the end of the trip. We were all having our picture taken on a bridge, a suspension bridge. A cable snapped on the bridge, and we were thrown into the ravine. And my husband died immediately, but I didn't know that. And there were 3 of us that were still attached to the bridge. It just really took the rug right out under my feet. My husband was very good with finances, and we kind of did everything. I took care of the kids in the household, and he worked and took care of the finances. So I really didn't have an idea about how to handle things. When I first got home, I didn't even want to go to Walmart and spend any money. I was just petrified of what I needed to do and what I had. And Arthur was great. He helped, went through finding where all our investments were, going through files and just pulling everything together. And I think that's the great thing about an advisor is having everything in one file together. You know what's what you have, and what you need, and what your financial abilities are. Arthur, if you have a question, you can just call him. He meets with you quarterly to show you how things are progressing, and I have like the same principles that Arthur does as far as not wanting to be in debt and wanting to honor the Lord and my finances. So he's great to be with.
For 26 years, I was an outside sales rep for Sears Contract Sales Office, and I retired back 5 years ago when I was 60 years old. My children are grown. We have a blended family. I have 2 children by a previous marriage, and I've been married 25 years this time, and right now we support 3 different missionaries apart from Grace Fellowship. So my life is pretty fulfilling at age 65, working part-time and involved in the church and also with my family. When I retired from Sears, I invested my retirement of working with Sears 26 years with Arthur. I think being successful in the marketplace, you want to help other women in that same area. And even now, when I'm talking one-on-one to a woman, I try to always ask her questions. Do you have a will in place? Do you have long-term care? So that it spurs some conversation and gets them to thinking about it, even if they don't.
Well, I am, do I have to say how old? Okay. I'm a mom of 2 daughters, one 5.5 and one 3. I stay at home predominantly. I work 1 day a week outside the home. And being a stay-at-home mom is probably the most challenging yet best job I've ever had. We've been very blessed. We've worked with Arthur for quite a long time, and he's given us really good advice that we've been fortunate to heed for the most part, that has allowed us to structure our finances such that staying at home is an option for us. Really, in our society where it's kind of get what you want, you know, buy what you can, get all you can, you know, and really choosing to invest in a different kind of lifestyle that is more, you know, centered on, yes, we want to have a nice life, but we want to also invest in things that aren't just temporary. And, you know, investing in, you know, children at home and family and having time to work for, you know, others to the glory of God is very important. Kind of really think about, you know, who you are and where you want to be, what's important to you, what's important to God, and decide when it's all said and done, I want to have invested my time and my resources in, and pick what that is, and just try and stick with one thing, and pick a target. Even if you might miss and you might not get there 100%, at least you have something you're striving for.
started out with a BA in psychology and went on to get a master's in psychology and worked in that field for quite a few years. In working in that field, I found out that corporate life sounded rather interesting, and they didn't have the same kind of cutbacks as non-for-profits did, which I was working with as a psychologist. So I went back to school and got an MBA from Rutgers. Then I went to AT&T for 18 years, and I started investing in real estate. Left AT&T in 1998 with a wonderful package, and have only worked a couple of years since that time. Then I met Arthur when I moved to Atlanta 3 years ago, and he has helped me to totally acknowledge my dream of not working. So that brings us, I think, to today. If you don't mind working till you're 70 years old, then and at a day-to-day job and barely making ends meet, you don't have anything towards your children going to college, and somebody dies and you have to go around and collect money because you don't have enough money, they didn't have enough money. You feel that that's not a stressful life for you, then that's great. But for most people, that's a very stressful life. And to me, to enjoy life, the less stress you have, the more fun you have. So therefore, you want to do things in your life that will de-stress you and give you more opportunity to have fun and enjoy life.